We are moving on to the next chapter. Chapter 8, Dissolution of Partnership Firm. This is not reconstitution of partnership. We have learned different cases of reconstitution like admission, retirement, death, then amalgamation. It's not there in the textbook, but amalgamation, that means merging of two or more firms. That is also a case of reconstitution. You remember what is reconstitution? The old agreement between the partners will come to an end and the new agreement will be formed between the partners. And the firm continues in all these situations. In admission, retirement, death, what happened? The firm continued even if there was a change in the agreement between the partners. So that is reconstitution. This is not reconstitution because this is dissolution. What do you mean by dissolution? Is there just a change in partnership agreement? Other than that, the partnership firm is coming to an end. It is the end of life of the business. Dissolution means closure of the business. The business will stop functioning. So it is not case of reconstitution. It is the ending of the firm. That means ending of partnership agreement also. Agreement will come to an end normally when the firm closes their operations. So we'll see what is the difference between dissolution of firm and dissolution of partnership. Both are different. Some again theory questions you will not be getting, but for 1 or 2 marks they might ask you the difference between dissolution of firm, or it can be called as dissolution of partnership firm and dissolution of partnership. These are different. Dissolution of partnership firm and dissolution of partnership, both are different. Okay, what can be dissolution of firm or dissolution of partnership firm? Just now we discussed. It is the end of the business. The relationship among partners also comes to an end. Whereas dissolution of partnership means that is reconstitution of partnership. Admission, retirement, all these will come under dissolution of partnership, or this can be called as reconstitution of partnership. So what is the difference? Here there will be a change in business relationship, or there will be a change in relationship among the partners, but the firm continues. That is dissolution of partnership. The agreement comes to an end, but the firm continues. The differences are there in the textbook. You must go through that. Then always write, if you get a question to write the difference, always write in columnar format. Don't write it as paragraphs. Then, so the meaning is the first point of difference. Then second one is court's intervention. A firm will be closed either voluntarily or compulsorily by order of court. Court may order for closure of the firm. That also can happen. Whereas this dissolution of partnership, for admitting a new partner or for the retirement, all these are voluntary in nature. Court will not interfere in that. Dissolution of partnership is voluntary in nature. Then business continuation, already we discussed. Under dissolution of firm, the business will stop. The business will stop its operations. Whereas under partnership, the business continues. Then closure of books of accounts. Where you will close? When you are closing the firm, of course you will have to close all the books of accounts. Whereas under dissolution of partnership, are we closing? In those chapter admission, retirement, death, did we learn any closing of accounts? No. Accounts or books of accounts need not be closed under dissolution of partnership. Then next is regarding assets and liabilities. At the time of dissolution, that means we are winding up. The entire business is getting over. That time what will you do with assets? Assets must be sold and all liabilities must be paid off. Understood? All assets will be sold, all liabilities will be paid, will be settled. And again, if you have any surplus, even after paying your liabilities, if you have any surplus, that will be given to partners. Partners means we don't have any old or new partner here. This is dissolution, not the case of admission, not the case of retirement. So the balance, if any, will be distributed to all partners there in the firm. Then the dissolution of partnership And this point here is assets and liabilities. What did we do in those chapters? Revaluation of assets and reassessment of liabilities. We prepared the revaluation account, isn't it? Then the gain or loss on revaluation was distributed among old partners in old ratio. The same point you can write here for assets and liabilities. Then economic relationship. The economic relationship among partners will come to an end under dissolution of firm. Whereas in the other situation, if it is just dissolution of partnership, the relationship among partners there will be a change in relationship among partners, but the firm continues. Of course, there will be a change in relationship. That is why we have a new agreement between the partners. But here the relationship will come to an end. There is only a change in relationship. Then effect. Dissolution of firm means entire business is closing its operations or they will stop functioning. So this dissolution of firm leads to dissolution of partnership also, isn't it? Sometimes they might ask you one more question like will dissolution of firm leads to dissolution of partnership? The answer is yes, and you have to give the explanation. One sentence is enough. Because when you wind up the business, when you close the business, the partnership also comes to an end. Whereas when you do dissolution of partnership, there we have just a change in relationship, but the firm usually continues. But there are situations in which the firm will close its operations, but rarely only that will happen. So what you can write in the second column is dissolution of partnership may or may not lead to dissolution of firm. So the basic difference is here it is closing of the firm, there it is change in relationship among partners. So that is the basic difference. Next what we have to learn is regarding settlement of accounts. This portion also will be asked for 1 mark question, nothing more than that. Settlement of accounts. Suppose we have loss in a particular year. The firm is incurring loss. How will you recover this or how will you meet this loss? First, of course, you will try to meet it out of the profit which you have. If that is not enough, you will take it from the capital contributed by partners. Again, if that is not enough, what will you do? You will take it from partners' personal share. So, partners will contribute individually in their profit sharing ratio. These are the 3 ways in which the firm is meeting loss. First, it will be taken from profit. If it is not enough, you will take it from capital. Again, if it is not enough, the partners will contribute individually in their profit sharing ratio. So that is regarding treatment of losses. You can give the heading here. Treatment of losses, you can write treatment of losses. Then second one is application of assets. Application of assets. The firm's assets, we know that at the time of dissolution, assets will be sold and we'll get the amount. And this amount will be first utilized for settling firm's debts to outsiders. This will be first used for settling firm's debts to outsiders. Second, it will be used to settle firm's debts to partners on account of capital. They would have contributed capital. We have to, not on account of capital, that is third one, on account of loan given by partners. In certain situation, the firm will take loan from partner also, other than bank loan. And this loan is something which we have to pay it back. And at the time of dissolution, of course, you have to settle it. So what will you do? The assets which we have sold and from the amount which we have, first you will settle the outsider's liability, the third party's liability. Then you will settle partner's liability. Partner is an internal liability, and partner's liability on account of loan. Sometimes they would have given a loan to the firm. That loan we will settle. Then third option is firm will settle their debts to partners. Again, that is internal, and this is on account of capital. This is on account of capital. Capital will be settled only at last. Understood? So this is the order in which you have to apply or utilize the assets. We can see some illustration questions. These type of questions will be asked for 1 mark. They'll give a situation. We'll read illustration 2. So you will understand how we are getting questions from this portion. Illustration 2. All the partners decide to dissolve the firm on 1st April 2020, while a partner demands that his loan of 80,000 be paid before payment of, so Y is a partner, and his amount must be paid, his loan must be paid before payment of loan by Mrs. X of rupees 20,000. Okay. But X, another partner, X is also a partner, demands that loan of Mrs. X should be paid before repayment of loan by Y. Who is correct in Y? This is how you will be getting questions based on this portion. Nobody will ask you what are the 3 ways in which you apply assets, or what are the 3 ways in which you meet loss. Nobody will ask you such questions in accountancy. Only application questions you will be getting, that also for only 1 mark questions. So what we have to do is just study these 3 ways. This order is important. First you have to pay the outsiders, then to partners on account of loan, finally to partners on account of capital. So here what's the question? Mrs. X loan should be paid first, or should we pay Mr. Y's loan first? What will be your answer? We have to pay Mrs. X loan first. So the question here is who is correct? Who is correct? The answer is X is correct, because Mrs. X means that she is not a partner. She is the spouse of a partner. Spouse means wife, husband or wife we can call. Here it is Mrs. X. So she is wife of Mr. X. Though there is a relationship like husband and wife, you can't consider it in business. From business point of view, partner is internal, whereas partner's spouse is external liability. And we know that external liabilities must be settled first. The outsider's liability must be settled first. We have to give loan provided by Y. That also we have to settle, but that comes only second. We have to first settle Mrs. X loan because she is an outsider. Understood? Partner's spouse is outsider, whereas partner is internal. So first we'll settle Mrs. X, then we'll pay Mr. Y's loan. So that is the order, and who is correct? X is correct, and you have to write this explanation. Hope you all understood how to write answer for these type of questions. The next is payment of firm's debts and private debts. Just give the heading. Payment of firm's debts and private debts. So what you have to learn in this portion is the firm's assets will be first utilized for paying firm's debts. If there is excess after meeting firm's debts, that can be utilized for meeting private debts. Okay, now what is firm's debts and what is private debts? Firm's debt means debt or the amount payable by the firm to its outsiders. Then, not only to its outsiders, to partners also we can call as firm's debts. It is also the liability of the firm. Excess of any will be treated to pay private debts. Private debts means debts or the amount payable by partners in their personal capacity. It's not having any relationship with the firm's debts. Firm's debts means it is the debts of the firm only. Here this is the debts of partners in their personal capacity, but firm's assets after meeting firm's debts, excess can be utilized for meeting private debts of partners. Similarly, the private asset of partners will be first used for settling private debts of the partner. Excess, if any, can be used for settling firm's debts. Just the reverse. Private assets will be first used for settling private debts. Excess can be used for settling firm's debts. Clear? Next, you give the heading accounting entries. Some journal entries we have to learn from this chapter. Okay, you write accounting entries on dissolution of partnership firm. Dissolution of partnership and dissolution of partnership firm both are different. So when you write it carefully. Accounting entries on dissolution of partnership firm. Subheading 1. First, accounting entry for closing assets account. For closing assets account. We know that this is the time of dissolution, this is the time of closure or winding up, so everything will have to close. And assets where you can find usually, that will be there in your balance sheet. This is your asset side, right side. So when you close assets, we know that will be transferred to the opposite side. The assets is already having a debit balance. When you close an asset, it will be credited. That you all know. And it will come to the opposite side. That is how we are closing. And this will be closed to an account called realization. You write realization account. Realization account is the account prepared at the time of dissolution. In previous chapters, we learned revaluation. Don't get confused between these two. Now, at the time of dissolution, what we prepare is realization account. The assets will be realized or assets will be sold at the time of dissolution. So, realization account is an account prepared at the time of dissolution. The purpose is to close the books of accounts of the firm so that we can find the profit or loss on realization. It can be distributed among partners. So, this is to close the books of accounts of the firm. They'll ask you one more question like what is realization? So, assets when you close, we know that this will be transferred to the opposite side. So, from right side, we'll take to the left side or to the debit side. And this is the posting. It will be transferred to an account called realization. So, what's the journal entry for closing assets? You write the journal entry now. Now, you write the meaning now. After that, you write this entry. Realization account debtor to assets account. That is how you are closing. Clear? We are just taking it to the opposite side. And when you close assets, you have to be very careful. You have to look into the balance sheet and close assets. But transfer assets, all assets, you write transfer all assets except certain items like that you must remember cash in hand, cash at bank, P&L debit balance. P&L debit balance means loss will come on the asset side. Then advertisement suspense account. Then partners capital or current accounts. Rarely only partners capital will come on the asset side. Usually this will come on the liability. It's always a liability. No, partners capital is always a liability. If you see capital on the asset side, what is the meaning? They have to give us amount. Receivable amounts are assets. Rarely you will get capital account on the asset side. Then loan to a partner. Loan given to a partner is an asset for you because it's receivable for you. Except these items, you can transfer all assets, including goodwill. Goodwill treatment is not like the previous chapter. Goodwill will not be distributed among partners. Including goodwill, you will close. That you must remember. Here you write all assets including goodwill. Including goodwill, you must write. So all assets including goodwill you can transfer at the time of dissolution. Transferring means closing. Except what all items you can't take: cash in hand, cash at bank, then P&L debit balance, advertisement suspense, partner's capital or current account, and finally any loan given to a partner. These two rarely only you will get in the question. But you must remember, don't transfer these assets. Except that, everything you can close to realization account. So that is first subhead, closing of assets account. Next is closing of liabilities. So liabilities will go to which side of realization? Just think, closing of liabilities account. Liabilities are appearing on the left side, or the liability side means this is your liability side, left side. So when you close, this will be transferred to the opposite side, or to the right side you will take, right side of realization account. So it will be by liabilities. This is the posting. So what will be the journal entry? Liabilities account debtor to, journal entry also you must write carefully. It is realization getting credited. So liabilities account debtor to realization. Understood? And we know that liability is already having a credit balance. When you close it, it must be debited. Or else you can think of this posting, it will come on the opposite side. So think of the journal entry and write. So this is how you are closing liabilities. And when you close liabilities, you can close only external liabilities. What is external liabilities? You have learned in your 11th standard. External liabilities, amount payable to outsiders or third parties other than partners. So that will include creditors. You write all these examples there. Creditors, bills payable, bank loan, bank overdraft, then employees provident fund. Employees provident fund is external in nature. Then partners, spouse loan is also external. We saw already. Mrs. X loan we paid first because that is external. So partner, spouse loan, EPF, bank overdraft, bank loan, creditors, bills payable, all these are examples of external liabilities, and you can transfer only external liabilities when you close the liabilities account. Examples also you write there. So that is how you are closing assets and liabilities. That's the first step when you do realization account. Account when you prepare, this is the first step. First close all assets except certain items. Then transfer all external liabilities. Transfer means close all external liabilities. Then you give the heading, third one, for realization of assets. Third one, for realization of assets. For realization of assets, the entries will be, again subheads are there. Realization of assets means it's not closing of assets. Both are different. Realization means selling. You can write here, realization means selling. Understood? Realizing an asset means, in question they'll not say like asset was sold. Instead of that, they'll write assets realized, means assets was sold. And the two situations are, first one, you write when assets are sold for cash. That's the first subhead you have to write. When assets are sold for cash. What is the journal entry when you sell an asset? The normal entry which you learned last year. What are we getting in return? Cash or bank. So what will you write? Cash or bank account debtor. When you sell machinery, what's the entry? Cash or bank debtor to machinery. Don't write now. Cash or bank debtor to machinery we can't write. Why we can't write to machinery? Because the machinery account means it's an asset account. Didn't we close all assets except certain items? Machinery account we would have closed already. Now we are at the time of dissolution. We are doing all these at the time of dissolution. We have closed everything. Again, you can't go and open a new asset account. It's already closed. So what you can write instead of to machinery is everything will be transferred to this account called, which is that account? To realization. So instead of machinery, since all assets we have closed already, we have to write cash or bank debtor to realization. Clear? Then second subhead B, when an asset is taken by a partner. When an asset is taken by a partner, this journal entry we have learned already. In the previous chapters, we have the same situation. An asset investment is taken over by a partner. What's the entry you learned? Partners capital account debtor to investment you write, or if it is stock, you will write stock. But now, can we write that asset's name? No. So what will you write? When partner is taking over an asset, you write the heading and write this entry. Partners capital account debtor to, instead of asset, what will you write? To realization. Understood? So when it is sold for cash, we will get cash or bank. The partner is taking over, you must write partners capital account. Instead of cash or bank, you will write partners capital. You can't write to asset, it is already closed. So to realization. Third situation, give the heading. When an asset is given to creditor towards payment of his dues. We have to pay some amount to creditor. Instead of paying in cash, we gave him an asset. What will be the basic entry? When you give an asset to a creditor, whose account will be debited, whose will be credited? We are giving an asset to a creditor. Creditor is getting settled. So you must write it as, this will be the basic entry, that is creditor's account. It will get cancelled. When you pay them, when you settle them, creditor will get cancelled. So debit it. To, what are we giving him? Asset. Understood? So asset is reducing, so asset is credited. Creditor's debtor to asset. But can we write this journal entry? You can't write this journal entry because creditor is a liability, that is external liability, which we would have closed already. Then asset also we have closed already. So these two we can't write. There is no asset account, there is no creditor's account. So what will you write instead of that? Instead of creditor and asset, what will you write? Which account you are writing? Realization account debtor to realization. The entry will get cancelled and the answer is no entry. Clear? When an asset is given to creditor or to settle any external liability, your answer is no entry. Understood? So these journal entries are very much important for preparing realization account also you need these entries. Sometimes they will ask you separate question to write journal entries. So study these entries clearly.